We've been jumping into some Neverwinter Nights character creation, looking at some of the different classes, the different attributes, and I've been pushing those up to my channel here, if you're new to this playlist, under the Neverwinter Nights section and playlist. So the question that we're going to look at today, the best, and this is a matter of opinion, and I'm going to put forth my opinion, of course, best role-playing character. Now, we explored in yesterday's vlog this idea that at its core, Neverwinter Nights is a min-max game. It uses the D&D 3.x rule set, where you have to beat certain numbers, whether it's a difficulty check or an armor class or hit points. I mean, this is kind of very, very familiar for D&D 5.0 players, as it's built on that framework. But as a min-max type game, essentially, if you work to have the highest stats, the greatest numbers, you'll break through any or all the challenges. And while it has role-playing aspects, Neverwinter Nights is a combat game. I mean, the body count is pretty crazy. The monster count is pretty crazy. And the primary way you gain experience is by defeating encounters, defeating opponents. So combat's an important point. Being able to min-max is an important point. That's where we want to focus. And we talked about building non-optimized characters and taking advantage of that as a playthrough. Well, now, and of course, no spoilers, now we're going to ask the question, role-playing value. If we reduce Neverwinter Nights, it's essentially a massive decision tree. You go here, you do this, it opens up these options, it opens up that option. There's only so much you can do in the game, and only so much as more than one human being can certainly track, and all the different combinations and character classes. But from that core, understanding that different characters, different ability scores, different skills, different spells will open up more in the game. Different quests, get you more gold if we can persuade, or just from that role-playing perspective to find out more about the story. And I'm thinking about like 4 or 5 examples, but I don't know where you are on the playthrough right now. I don't know the packs that you are playing right now, so I won't give examples. I want you to discover that on your own. But this is the fun why you can go through, even the primary campaign, the original campaign, you can go through even with the same character, the same build, 2 or 3 times and get to see all of the sites. Play with different characters, get to see all the sites. So if we were building a character, now this is my vote, and then of course your vote. If I was building a character to play through the primary campaign, the secondary campaign, and the different packs, what character would I play to maximize options and role-playing aspects, opening up different dialogues, utilizing different things? My vote is, and it helps that it is one of my favorite character classes, and this is not to say you can't do it with others, but I would say a wizard, either a straight-up wizard or a less optimized intelligence-based wizard, meaning intelligence-based with splashes into wisdom and charisma. Although I could also do intelligence and charisma, and the wisdom I can boost through other means to give insights. Those 3, the attributes of charisma and wisdom, charisma boosts a lot before we get into skills. It's just a raw boost to be able to persuade or intimidate. And wisdom, for whatever reason, I guess because you have the wisdom, it opens up other dialogue paths. Now, you don't need these to solve the game, but they offer insights as to what the heck is going on in the various quests and sub-quests. You could brute force it and just get to the end and do what you got to do. But again, we're looking at exploring all of the role-playing aspects. Now, intelligence as a wizard, before we even get into spells, because really the intelligence isn't so much about the spells from that perspective, although it helps. It's the fact that it opens up massive, massive amounts of skill points, where you can take skill points into stuff like intimidate. You can take it into persuade. You can take it into appraise, just to get more money, to see what happens, although there's a couple of dialogue options for that too. That is an example, of course, later on in the game, as with most role-playing games. You start off pretty poor, you struggle through a few chapters, but then you've got cash, in this case gold, absolutely everywhere in the game. So even with appraise, while it's not necessary, it opens up certain abilities, certain dialogues. spellcraft, counterspells, things like that. The wizard has the spells. Sorcerer has the spells, but they don't have the skill points. The wizard has the built-in spell points, skill points to do that. The other advantage of the wizard is you can min-max and take some powerful damage-dealing spells. I mean, that's the primary way the wizzy deals damage. Same with the sorcerer. I could jack him up with meta magic and feats like that. Certainly we're going to do that. But having the diversity to memorize and dememorize spells, unlike the sorcerer, means I can have my offensive type spell book, but then have some of the other spells that might open up role-playing options. Have some of the other spells to boost my stats. I mean, you can do the same through potions to get that little boost for certain insights when you talk to primary NPCs or characters to open up dialogue. So I feel like if you've played through the game a few times, or you're like, I want to do a role-playing run. I mean, yes, we're going to win. We're going to have those epic fights. We're going to get our magic gear. We're going to make it to the end, and we're going to have a lot of fights. But what if I want to speak to every NPC? What if I want to explore the quests, the sub-quests, the romances, the dialogue options, all of that? I feel like a wizard is a really, really awesome and amazing base to do that. Now I'm going to flip it over to you guys. What character class, and we're just talking about a core build. You could certainly do a hybrid build with mixing and matching certain character classes or even prestige classes. What would be your vote if we really wanted to explore as many of those quests, subquests, dialogue options, NPCs, leads, all that type of stuff to approach the game from a role-playing perspective?